highlight, guys. I use the highlighter in my palette, not that eyeshadow that I've been using. Oh my god. Now I know why everyone's crazy about highlighting products. Hi everyone, first of all I want to wish you all a very happy 2016. I hope your New Year's Eve was good. I actually vlogged mine, so if you're interested to watch it, you know where to find the link. And now, well, with the first week of New Year 2016, I wanted to talk about my first day at work. Hi, I'm a cabin crew and I want to talk about how my first day of work was. Hope you'll be interested. So, how our first day's work is that before we actually go and operate a flight, we have about 2 flights which are called familiarization flights, and for short, and to make it easier, we call them FAM flights. So I have 2 FAM flights before my actual operating flights, and before that we also have an observation flight where we just like half of our batch goes with the trainer to a certain place. I went to Kolkata, and on that flight we go as a passenger and just observe what the crew are doing, how they're doing it. So that's basically just a trip with your friends to Kolkata. That's what that ended up being. Of course I observed and all, but then it was normal. But I'll talk about my FAM flights. So my first FAM flight, okay, first of all, both of my FAM flights were morning flights. And you have to wake up really early for that, and I was not used to it. So it was really not good for me because it was so early. So, but luckily my flights were really short. They were just 2 sectors. So the first day I did Delhi, Bombay, Delhi, and the second day I did Delhi, Goa, Delhi. So just 2 sectors, not bad. And luckily on both of the flights I had another batchmate to go with me. So it was 2 of us clubbed on one flight, which was very lucky of us because people usually go on their own. So on my Delhi, Mumbai, Delhi flight, the flight load, which is basically how many passengers are there, was very less. So we could actually, like, the crew did not have a lot of work to do on that flight, so we could just sit behind and talk to them about their experience, what to take care of, everything, learn a lot, because we are not really operating on that flight. We go dressed as a crew, but then we sit behind in the galley, which is the area where they work, and just sort of help them out, maybe fill water jugs for them, take call bills for them and stuff like that. And we're basically there to just see how they're working in the galley itself. Okay, so that's really fun. I was with my friend. We did the demonstration because there were not a lot of passengers, so it's okay if we goofed up, and that was fun. And it was just a big confusion. I didn't know how to do. Luckily I was not absolutely new to airports, so I knew how they work. So I had gotten that thing down, but then again, working and all, because in the beginning it seems like, whoa, what, everything just seems so big, and you know what I'm saying. So yeah, and then on second flight, second flight was good, but my second flight kind of ended up being like a big competition of who will take the most call bills with my batchmate. But that was fun as well because we're just so excited. Now if you ask me about call bills, I'll be happy if you took all my call bills, but then at that time we haven't done it a lot, so we're like, yes, I want to do it all. And in this video I'll be looking a lot everywhere else than the camera, because when you're trying to remember something, you just look at a distance and then try to remember that, replay it in your head. So that's why I won't be making a lot of eye contact. What else? Also, my second flight was Delhi. Okay, so my first flight was Delhi, Bombay, Delhi, and I was just so excited. Oh my god, I want to see a celebrity. Will I see a celebrity? I guess I saw this DJ. He's called DJ Akil. I don't know much because I don't party a lot, but then my friend told me that he's a DJ Akil, so I was like, whoa, what up? And then on my second flight, Delhi, Goa, Delhi, I'd been to Goa. So Bombay and Goa I had been to both the places before becoming a cabin crew, so I was not fascinated about the place a lot. But then for Goa, the Goa airport is a defense airport, so at certain time during the day it's shut for the defense people to, I guess, practice their flying or something like that. So I saw that the aircrafts that they the aircrafts that they fly are so loud, but they were so cool. We just saw them taking off, landing. It was just really fun. And then on my Delhi, Goa, Delhi flight, I was in the forward where there's a cockpit, right? So the captain must have asked for some food. So she was going to serve him. I was just looking at there. She's like, would you serve? I'm like, the captain? Sure. And I was just so excited about it. And I served the first officer, actually, not the captain. And then the first officer looked like Ranveer Singh. But then he was really nice. He was like, thank you, ma'am, and all. I was like, oh, that's nice. But nothing came out of it. Don't worry, okay? Nothing brewed between us. Yeah, never saw him again. But anyway. And then so that was my first flight, like first 2 fam flights. After that, went home. Then on my very first operating flight, now I'd had these 2 flights which were morning flights, so my sleep schedule was not proper and I did not know how to cope up with it back then, because of course it was my first few days. So my first flight was a morning flight again. I was not rested well, had a headache, felt pukish, everything. And you know, in the beginning, I used to puke at every takeoff and landing because I have motion sickness, like a major case of motion sickness. So I used to puke a lot. And because of that, also I was feeling so weak and not very, you know, up my game. And then on my very first flight, I remember I went to the airport. And at that time I was ironing my own uniform, because you know, my father is also in the armed forces, and he would also say that, you know, you should iron your own uniform, take care of your own uniform, because it just you just have that respect for your uniform and your job then. And also I had that in mind, so I would iron my own uniform. But then I'm saying I ironed my uniform. I didn't iron it well, okay? So I went there and I was just filling out these details in the CMS, which is crew movement sheet. You write where you're going, sign in, sign out. So I was filling that up. And I remember the in-flight executives, which are at the base, our seniors, they were sitting there. They were like, what's wrong with her? They're like, hi, what did you iron your uniform? I was like, yeah. But in my mind, I was like, yes, I ironed it myself. That's why it looks like this, because it was asking me, why does it look like this? And then they asked me for if I had a spare uniform, because we're supposed to keep it in a bag, but then that was also a little wrinkled. Then they told me a hack that you can just wet your hands a little, run them through the creases, and it will look good for some time at least. I was like, okay. But then after the briefing, even our lead, the cabin crew in charge of the flight, was so nice. I was like, yes. Reached in my bag, I did not have the airport entry pass, which is kind of like the identification thing with which the security personnel allow you in the airport. Because you know, if you don't have a ticket, they don't allow you in the airport, right? Because like, what do you have to do in there? So that airport entry pass is kind of like a go sign that, okay, this person is legit, we can let them enter in the airport, because it's not very easy to get it made. You need to get a police verification and lots of things done. So I didn't have that, which is a big thing taught to us in training, that you cannot not have it, and I did not have it. And then they were like, oh, okay. My CCIC, she was very nice. And then when I told her that, you know, I don't think I have it, and she was like, what? She was like, please go talk to them and do it quickly so that there's a replacement for you. She can go quickly. And then they sat me at the base. She's like, are you sure it's not in your bag? Because it was my very first day. I was like, no, ma'am, it's not. She's like, are you sure? I'm like, yes. She's like, okay, then go back home. I had to sign a letter, which is a warning letter. It's really bad. But then in the back of my mind, I just knew that I had it in my bag. I just did not want to check well. And it was good that I did not check and go to the flight, because as soon as I got to my house, my mom opened the door. I went straight to the bathroom and puked all over. It was a big puke because, no. Yeah, because, well, I had been doing morning flights, not sleeping well, and puking on the flights, which means I was really weak. And yeah, so that was not a very good day. So yeah. And then the next day was my first day. So my first day at work was not basically my first day. My second day was my first day at work. So yeah. But now, I mean, even though I have that warning letter in my record, you know what, it was worth it at that time. I just did not want to do that flight, and I could not, because I was just feeling so weak. So it's okay. And the next day, I had ironed my uniform really well, because I got my mom to do it for me. And then everything went well. So yeah. And now it's been 2 years that I've been flying, and I don't have another warning letter. I'm doing good at work, and I'm so excited. But it's just that, you know, in the very first few days of working in aviation, everything just seems so big and like ooh la la and very glamorous, and it just seems really larger than life, and it just seems so much more, you know what I'm saying? But now that I've been working for 2 years, everything seems just normal. It's like, yeah, it's not that glamorous and stuff. It's just work. It's normal. But in the beginning, it does look like that, and I can see why people would think that it's such a glamorous industry. It's ooh ah, but it's not really. Maybe it is. I don't know. But it's like, it's normal now. But at that time, this is what it was. Yeah, that was my first day at work. I hope you enjoyed this video and just, you know, got to know a little bit more about my work and how I got started. If you want to know more about me being a cabin crew, I have a whole playlist called Cabin Crew 101, which is linked below. You could go watch videos about that and ask questions if you have any. I might do a Q&A. You can also keep the conversation going on Twitter, Snapchat, and Instagram. and I'll see you in my next video. Till then, bye bye.